It's important to remember that life is almost entirely void of meaning. So to fabricate some meaning, I made over my patio. What's up, baby dudes?
Hey guys.
Hi, babies. Bad boys, men of Reddit, 𝗘𝗤𝗨𝗜𝗍𝗓𝗠𝗧.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caroline.
If you're familiar with my channel, you know I usually show interior design stuff, etc. I don't really know what I do. I don't want to be boxed in. Listen. Today I'm gonna walk you through a little apartment tour. I think I'm gonna set up my Hinge profile. I'm gonna cut myself bangs. I'm having an anxiety attack.
Have I done my best here, or will I be here next year, or are these my best years yet?
The vlog? I don't know what the title of this video is yet, but this one's gonna be good.
Was looking forward to being.
I would like to be able to afford to stay in this apartment, and right now I can't. Couple links by behind. Pass that dude again. The nuts had no soul, they're just raw nuts. It's not in my head. Dating update. Smash or pass? No buy makeover. A few times. I'm at a crossroads, y'all. I'm moving. I got some wallpaper. In 2005, I had my first makeout. We're gonna look at the living room, and then we're gonna hang out and talk about what we're gonna do before we die, and stuff like that.
Can we skip to the good part?
I'm sweating so hard because I just get so excited. And I'm gonna die.
What are the chances I'm gonna F this up? About 100, about 100%. Okay, let's do this.
If there's a good part, then
I don't know how to start this video. The title of the video is what it is. I reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and there have been so many, you know, it's affected me. It's affected my life in so many ways, good and bad and weird. And I'm not really inclined to like celebrate milestones very much. And I feel like if I don't like pause and just soak it in for a moment and reflect, it won't happen again. Like, this is it. You know, maybe you get 1 million subscribers once, you don't get it again. And I even feel like even if I got like 3 million subscribers one day, like, does anyone care? It's like, I feel like this is the milestone. So I'm making myself stop and care. And I do care. I feel really, really proud and really grateful. If you know much about my backstory, you know that I've had multiple failed careers in multiple other industries. So I really can't take it for granted to have found a place where I feel like I make sense and where the hard work goes somewhere and it resonates and it just feels right for once. And people like it. That's nice. And I also can't help but take a dark turn. So let's just take a dark turn right off the bat. So first we're gonna take a dark turn. We're gonna go do something a little sad, but just for a moment. It's not gonna stay sad, I promise. I was thinking back to 1 million subscribers ago and trying to remember like how I felt. Like, what was I feeling when I started YouTube? Where was I? And I remember a lot of the context, but it's like, it's also easy to rewrite the past and rewrite your own feelings. So I'm not gonna try to guess. Instead, I'm going to simply read Caroline of the past in her own words. This is an email that I wrote to a friend from college on April 10th, 2021. This was during COVID. It was like a friend of mine. We hadn't seen each other for a while, and we were kind of doing a pen pal thing. So this is about almost 5 years ago. At this point, I had released my 9th YouTube video. YouTube was still very new. That video received 640 views, don't want to brag, and I had 1,112 subscribers. I was living in Ohio with an ex-boyfriend, and my pen pal friend asked, she said something nice about my YouTube videos. And I responded. Thanks for saying such nice things about my videos. I have to say they were born out of pure loneliness. Here's my COVID context. When COVID hit, I'd been living in Ohio for just 1 year, working a remote software development job, aka no real way to meet people or forge friendships with coworkers, in a city that has proven very insular. Most people who live here were born here and never left. Many haven't had to make a new friend since kindergarten, and they've probably never been the new person in a room. I would guess they have as much anxiety about making new friends as I do, and they're even less experienced in it. So it's been very hard to find my place here. Marty is our puppy, and he is 100% mentally ill, like literally. He must have been abused or something. We've worked with doctors and trainers, and they all think he needs to be put down or something. And the trainers have warned us that we can't really rehome him because anyone else would just have him put down. And even if we could rehome him, he is pretty much my only friend, and I can't fathom not seeing him again. It's so wild to write a sentence like that. He's my only friend. Maybe don't repeat that to my parents, LOL, but I feel that this email thread is a safe place for sad thoughts. My point is that I had wanted to make YouTube videos for a while, but was too embarrassed and too scared to do it. Too embarrassed at what people would think or say about me behind my back. And then halfway through COVID, all of my attempts to fit in here and make friends here had failed and gotten me nowhere, and I was so lonely and just hating my day job and just totally purposeless. All my loneliness and purposelessness put so much pressure on my then boyfriend to be everything for me. Social life, partner, purpose. An impossible task. I was not quite at the point of wanting life to end, but it was the closest I've been to that feeling. Just completely untethered to the world or to any meaning, with no reason to get out of bed. I looked forward to sleeping all the time because I didn't have to figure out my purpose there. And then eventually, after all this loneliness, I realized, well, I guess I can't embarrass myself and lose friends by making YouTube videos if I don't actually have any friends. So I might as well make the videos I want to make. It's given me a lot of purpose and joy. And ironically, or maybe obviously, I think people like me more because of the videos. It's weird to venture into doing something I care about again. It's really scary because I did that once and it didn't work out. And I thought it was something I was good at too. So now I feel like I have no barometer, no way of knowing what will work or not. I trust myself even less than before. But things honestly just got to the point where I felt like I have no choice but to do the thing I enjoy or perish. Not to be dramatic, but you know what it's like. I have so many more things I want to ask and say and weird, sad things to dump on you. But this email is so long and I don't want it to be overwhelming. Tell me where you're at these days. What's good? What's bad? What's tolerable? So 10 days after I sent this email, my boyfriend of 6 years who I was living with broke up with me. The next day I packed a suitcase, I said goodbye to my dog, and walked out of the house that was not just the place I was living, but the place that I was the backdrop of this burgeoning purpose I had built for myself, these interior design YouTube videos. I drove myself home to DC, and at the time I truly felt like I had very little left. I did not release another YouTube video for 7 months. I don't even know what I did. I was kind of in a state of shock. I just tried to rebuild my new life in DC. I worked my day job as a coder. I spent time with my family, which was a huge blessing. I tried to make new friends. I tried new things. I tried to just make sense of this blank canvas that was left when these few remaining bits of life disappeared very quickly. And then by a year and a half later, I was a full-time YouTuber. I was able to quit my day job. I felt purpose, drive, energy, I had friends, and I was also very scared of losing it all because I had come from a place where I had so little of it. So little drive, passion, energy, purpose, friends. And I was really scared that it would come crashing back down. Very, very afraid of just losing that feeling of being alive. But I had really rebuilt myself. It was about 2 years later from that day when I'd driven myself home from Ohio. 2 years to the day, actually. And I still have my Google Calendar of what I did that day, 2 years later, to the day. 8 a.m. I had a breakfast date with a new friend I'd made in DC. 1 p.m. I had a coffee date with my dad. I was able to see my family a lot more often now and had a real sense of that purpose and community. 3 p.m. I had a recording for the podcast I had started as a secondary business to my YouTube channel. And then in the evening at 6 p.m. I had a first date with a man named Justin. Today we are engaged to be married, but way back then it was our first date and he was just an incredibly handsome, incredibly sweet, incredibly polite man. And I say incredibly 3 times because every single thing about this day was incredible, by which I mean not credible, unbelievable to the Caroline of just 2 years prior. Something that my parents have always reiterated to me is this: change happens slowly and imperceptibly, but it happens. I came across this old email, which is basically a diary entry. I don't know, I came across it sometime this past year and was like shocked to read it. It was shocking to read those words. It was actually like kind of hard to get back in touch. Like I kind of had forgotten how I felt. And it also was like such a gift to just note these very clear benchmarks of change. And YouTube has just been like an enormous part of that journey. Yes, it's helped me pay the bills, and yes, it has given me something to do all day, and yes, it's nice to be recognized for something I enjoy doing. And yes, a plaque is very, very nice. But really what it's given me is purpose and a place where I feel like I finally make sense, I belong. And I want to say thank you to you watching, however you found me. A couple years ago, I decided that despite the way things felt, there was something worth hanging around for. And somewhere along the way, you agreed. Thank you. Okay, now that the dramatic part of the video is over, we can talk about what really matters, which is I have a cat. I have a cat. This is a real cat. It's not a fake cat. He's sleeping right now. I've had this cat for like 2 months, and when I first got him, I was like, oh, we can do some kind of fun, like, fucking cat reveal or something on the channel. That would be fun, I guess. People are interested. And then I just had, like, a bunch of, like, room makeover videos lined up and videos that, like, my cat wouldn't be in, and I didn't know where to do it. And now it's been, like, 2 months, and, like, this cat, you might have seen the cat in some of the videos, but I never acknowledged that I own a pet. Some people watching this video don't care, and some people care a lot. And I just can't tell how many people are in which group. So this is my cat. His name is Whitley. He came with that name. I did not name him that. We adopted him, and he's the sweetest, cuddliest, best cat in the world. I can't believe this cat. Oh, he moving. Oh, yeah. That's good. I feel like I'm like coming out of the closet as a cat person to myself. Like I didn't even know. I didn't even know, and now I'm obsessed with this cat, and this really isn't even the time to talk about it, but this video is a gift to myself, so I'm telling you about my cat. If you want to know more about my cat, we did an in-depth talk about the cat and why we got the cat and who's the cat and what's the deal with the cat on my podcast. You can watch it on YouTube. Oh my God, are we doing the cat interview right now?
Yeah, I tricked you into it.
And then within the first week of owning this cat, I was like, how have I not been thinking about cats 24/7 before this? I actually don't know how he got it into his head that he wanted a cat. Okay, now that we've covered that, let's talk about some of the other weird parts of YouTube. People also asked people to, look who's sleepy, huh? Who's sleepy? Let's talk about some other goss. Let's talk about some behind the curtain goss. Another strange impact of YouTube is, I guess it relates to like parasocial relationships. And a lot of my subscribers asked about this. People wrote, how do you feel about parasocial relationships? Do you sometimes feel separated from your on-screen self? Curious about the psychological effects of being a brand. When people recognize you in the street, are you happy or creeped out? Fun questions. I'm never creeped out when people recognize me on the street. Granted, I'm not inundated with it. So I think it's so like small and manageable that it just delights me. And it's also like, that's the reason I made the content, is for people to watch it. Sometimes I meet people and they're like, oh, is it weird that I know this about your life? I'm like, no, it's good. That's why I made it. It wasn't a personal diary. It was made for people to watch. It's good that you know it. Thank you. My plan worked. So it never creeps me out. It only ever makes me happy. And the parasocial bit is like very positive. It doesn't feel parasocial to me. You know what I mean? I feel known. The experience that I have even through YouTube is it's familiar with people. So I don't know. In a way, I feel like I don't really get to experience the parasocial part. I would be interested to hear if some creators feel like they do. I almost feel like I can't access the parasocial part. I almost feel like it feels more parasocial to subscribers, to the watchers. And I have my own YouTubers that I have a parasocial attachment to. There's a couple people I watch that I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is what my subscribers feel when they watch my channel. So like, and it doesn't feel weird when I feel it for these YouTubers. I feel like I just like them. I feel like I get them. And I'm also aware that like I don't know a lot of them, but I also have this sense that like I think I have a pretty good idea what they're like and what their values are, and I could be right or it could be wrong. It doesn't really matter though. I've just like decided I'm invested in them, and it doesn't feel that weird to feel it. Yeah, I think sometimes people have like, when I meet people, sometimes they have feelings of like embarrassment or shame or something for being parasocially attached, but it doesn't feel weird for me to feel it about people. It makes sense. It doesn't creep me out. I think the one thing that is like definitely affected my brain in a weird way is once or twice I have forged relationships with people who first knew me from my channel. A couple friends I've made who, like, when I was really small, they first found me through the internet, or even when I was bigger later, or like a few subscribers I became good friends with. And that experience has definitely like shifted my brain, because if we're becoming friends at all through my channel, they liked my channel, right? I'm not really becoming friends with people who hated my channel usually. They don't really pursue me. But if we're becoming friends and starting an IRL relationship, it's because they liked me, or they had a positive impression, or they liked who I was in a 20-minute video, which, yes, is a part of me, but it's also, it can't contain all parts of me. It certainly doesn't contain the ugliest and worst parts of me. So then the process of becoming friends, or like getting to know somebody who first liked me through the channel, means that I am patiently waiting for them to like take me off a pedestal, kind of. Not that everyone who watches the channel has me on a pedestal, but like I do like, I have flaws. Duh. I have flaws that will come out only through knowing me. I don't think they're like crazy flaws. Like, I don't like beat dogs or anything, but like, I have flaws that are not contained in my charming, entertaining 20 minutes of a YouTube video. And I do think that like the me in videos is very much me. Like, my friends and family watch that and they're like, yeah, that's you. But it's 20 minutes. Like, it can't contain all of you as much as like if I came and watched your presentation at work, if you had like, you know, present a PowerPoint at work for 20 minutes, it's a part of you, but there's a lot more to you, I would guess, as well. That's less polished and less performed and less planned. I don't know. I feel like usually the process of making friends, like before YouTube, was like, oh, you don't know me that well, but like hopefully I'll win you over in time. And then since YouTube, a lot of the time the process is like, oh, you like me a lot, and if in a little bit you'll like me less, you know? Like, and hopefully there's a different kind of liking. My therapist says that hopefully there's a different kind of relationship that forges with the real you that is deeper and more rewarding. Yes, I get it. I get it, Maria. But it does kind of feel like sometimes I'm just like sitting and voluntarily waiting for them to figure out all the reasons why I'm not quite as good as they pictured. So that's a weird process, and it's like unavoidable, and there's nothing to do about it, and it's survivable. And yes, it does still mean that we can find deeper connection with the real me, but I do sometimes feel like I'm just like waiting for people to discover why I'm not as good as the person online or something. I don't know. I guess I'm saying I'm a bitch. And on that heartfelt note, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine if I put a sponsor bit in the middle of this very heartfelt video? Can you imagine? Okay, I wouldn't do that. Or would I? Mama's gonna pay the bills. Cha 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 cha. Mama's gotta pay the bills. Cha 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 cha. This video is sponsored by Typology. Typology's Advent Calendar is back as a limited edition. Typology is not makeup, it's tinted skincare, and when you have acne-prone and rosacea skin like I do, that's a big deal. If you're buying a gift for a beauty or skincare lover, this is the one. It includes 24 products, 15 are full-sized, and includes all of their best sellers. I showed you guys before how Typology's tinted skincare is gentle enough on my very sensitive skin, but still gives me really good coverage and this ridiculous glow. But I'm gonna address some of the big hitters in their advent calendar. This is Typology's color corrector for redness. This one's witchcraft. I don't know what else to say about it. If you have rosacea or even a touch of redness, it'll blow your mind. For later on in your beauty routine, we've got the glow drops, which are instant magic and give me that youthful French, oh, she doesn't even try, she's just gorgeous kind of vibe. You know, I have all of the lip oils. The coral lip oil gives you this really sheer glowy look with a little pop of bright. I like how it contrasts with my eyes. Then we can hit it with a little bit of the serum mascara, and boom, she's starring in her own Hallmark holiday romance. I'm delighted to have Typology as a sponsor, and if you've been wanting to try out their products, this is really the time. I wanted to get their advent calendar last year for my cousin who loves skincare and beauty, but I couldn't because it sold out in like a day or something obscene. So know this. I'll put the link below, which will also get you a free tote bag and this cute travel pouch. But it is a really good value. I think the products total over like $600 or something like that, but you can get this for $279, I think. So it's the right time to try. Here's something weird and beautiful, magical that I feel like YouTube has impressed upon my brain, which is that the audience knows. The audience knows. They know when your energy isn't in it. They know when your heart isn't in it. They know, like, they just know. The audience knows. They just know when you're bringing genuine, open, honest energy. And they may not be able to articulate how or why they know, or even that they know. It might just be like I'm not that interested in this channel anymore, but they do know. You don't have to be able to articulate why the energy is off and how you know that in order to know that. The audience knows. And it's really like an interesting bit of magic to me. And I think I can't get comfortable, but I want you to look at my cat. And I think it like has really affected me in listening to my energy and being honest with myself about like what is energetically true and interesting and important versus what is, you know, something I think I should be doing. Yeah, it's definitely affected me a lot in terms of like following your energy and listening to your energy. And it's, you know, really probably the most woo-woo thing about me. But I think it applies to a lot more than just YouTube and performance. I think it has to, I feel it, you know, when I was dating, people, they just know when you're bringing genuine, open, honest energy. They might not be able to put words to it, but they know. In relationships, at work, again, it's one of those things that I feel like YouTube impresses upon you because you have immediate feedback from hundreds or thousands of or millions of people telling you, we know your heart isn't in this, stop it. So it's a lesson that's louder on YouTube, but I think it really applies to all people in like all moments in life. Something about following your energy, following your energy, and like people know where your heart is. As much as you might think you're good at like masking or hiding it, the audience knows where your heart is. Okay, one of the weirdest, maybe, ways that being a YouTuber has permanently affected my psyche is it's definitely changed how I interact with content, the content that's fed to me. So basically in creating content, you're always having to like fight to stay relevant. And that's a funny thing because I know no matter how hard I fight to stay relevant, eventually I won't be. Like there's not that many people who stay relevant for like 20 years. There's a few, but not many. So most likely my content will be irrelevant to people eventually. Cool. Let's make it chill while it's here. But there is that aspect, is that like you're always trying to have to like re-pitch yourself to the audience, resell yourself and be like, hey, I know you liked that video, but like you should now watch this video or you should read this article. And it really is the same with articles, with news, with Instagram or TikTok or really even like major news publications. They're also content machines. And I feel like when you're creating content all the time, you can see the content creation part of everybody else, of them trying to, okay, they're sharing a cool thrifting tip, but they're also trying to stay relevant. And that's not bad. That's how it has to be. But there is a line sometimes where things tip into content that is anxiety inducing or like really rattles you or freaks you out because obviously that'll get clicked on. And I feel like creating content has definitely changed how I interact with content and actually how I've like distanced myself from a lot of content, or I'm like more intentional about it. Even like huge, enormous publications are in the same cycle of trying to stay relevant. And one of the most popular and most clickable formats for whether it's a news article or a TikTok reel or a YouTube video is basically like, we have information that you need and you don't have this information, so you need to click in, so you need to read the article, so you need to watch the reel, whatever. And that's like one of the most like the most clickable structures to use. I have information that you don't have, and you need this information, and it's something you don't know, and only I can tell it to you, so you better engage with this content. And that's not bad to do. Sometimes there is information that people don't know and they need to know and they should know, such as stuff in the news, or new approaches on parenting, or wow, look at that. It's my biggest viral video, which is you're doing home organization wrong. When I made this video, I did not know that structuring a video with this like titling structure was like a highly clickable thing. I didn't really know what I was doing at all. I was just like, this is my opinion. And I titled it that way, and it happened to be a structure that works very well, turned into my most viral video. So it's not that like all content that follows this structure is inherently bad or bullshit, but people use that structure in news articles, in all kinds of content all the time, and it very easily sends anxiety and fear and this sense of urgency through viewers, readers, listeners, subscribers, like, oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about this angle, or oh my God, we haven't talked about this thing, or like nobody's talking about that. And it can really like riddle you with anxiety, I think, as it has like most people I know. And I think like being inside of the content creation machine, I can like see the machinery much more easily of just like, sometimes that article has a valid point. Sometimes that is new information and a new perspective. Sometimes they're just phrasing it that way because that writer needs more clicks, even if it's in a big news publication or something. Sometimes it's actually not something you need to be that stressed out about, but this person is also trying to stay relevant in whatever platform they're on. So I do think it's really, really changed how I receive other content, whether it's a TikTok or whether it's a news article. There's responsible and irresponsible ways, I think, to do all of them. Sometimes it's done well, and sometimes it is done just to cause anxiety and fear and clicks, basically. Yeah, it's definitely changed the giant grain of salt with which I absorb content. And again, if you see an article that's like, everything you knew about XYZ is wrong, it doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bullshit article. Like, there's obviously always like new things to learn, new perspectives to see stuff from. But I think there's a lot more articles like that than deserve that. Does that make sense? Moving on. One subscriber asked, I know you have a background in acting. I was an actor like 2 careers ago. And I'm wondering how much you are acting / playing a slightly bigger, bolder version of yourself. I don't mean being fake. Your content is clearly so genuine and at times hugely vulnerable. I'm just curious, as a fellow content creator, how much playing up to the camera is a little necessary. Sorry if that's a big question to ask. Not a big question to ask. Yeah, this is kind of what I mean by like the audience knows. I definitely don't feel like I'm acting on YouTube. I think YouTube has actually made me more natural on screen than any acting class ever did, because you cannot be seen acting. If the audience sees you acting, like, they know. They don't have to be a theater professional or an acting critic or acting student to know when someone's putting something on. Like, the audience just knows. And I feel like the thing it's taught me most is how to like shed down to like the bare nothing, kind of, because the audience knows. Anything that is acted or like put on, they just know. And like, every YouTuber will, myself included, will still make videos like that sometimes, because sometimes you have to get up and put on a happy face when you've had a horrible day or a devastating breakup, or you fell in a dumpster earlier in the day. I don't know. And sometimes you do have to put on a face, but you do it selectively, I guess. Yeah. In terms of like playing, how much my acting. I would say not acting at all. If anything, I think YouTube challenges you to be like the most dressed down you can be. Like put on, at least my approach, I guess, is to be like dressing myself up the least I can. Like what is the most just like dressed down, not putting on airs I can be out here. And then how much am I playing a slightly bigger, bolder version of myself? That's definitely in there, because I think it's as much as like, you know, you meet someone new and they feel uncomfortable and you feel like you need to like host the conversation or set them at ease or, you know, make them, you know, crack a joke. It's like sometimes you do put things on you just are more active in like, okay, let me take care of the environment here. Like, I'm having someone over. I'm not just gonna sit back and like sit in the corner, even though I feel really introverted today. Like I'm gonna host them. I feel like, sorry, yelling in his ear. I feel like that's what it is. But it's still a version of you. It's just like this is the higher energy version of me. I mean, there's a lot of times I don't feel like filming. I most of the time don't feel like filming because it is very Justin knows. Like I always dread filming days. I like doing it. I like it once it's happening, but I have to rack up like a lot of energy beforehand in order to do it. Does that make sense? I think this is like one of the most impactful permanent effects YouTube has had on me. I think to make YouTube work for you, you have to be good at two seemingly opposite things. It is important to like, you got to find a groove. You got to find a system. You got to establish your brand and consistency and repeatable structures for videos. So you're not always reinventing the wheel. And also, you have to constantly be trying new things. Because if things get too standardized, too structured, too repeated, they become stale, and I believe it's not enjoyable. So it's like trying to establish systems and repetition while also like intentionally trying to reinvent the wheel. So once a year I've started like taking this break to kind of shake things up and figure out like, all right, I'm too comfortable. I've gotten like too set in a system. What's the new thing we can do? And another thing that happens about once a year is that things plummet. And literally about once a year, I'm determined that like my YouTube career is over. I don't know how to make content anymore. Things aren't going well. This is the end. Okay, it was a good run, but now it's over. And the thing about that is one day it'll be true. One day I will be correct. But that feeling used to freak me out a lot. The feeling of being like, I don't know how I'm going to fix this. I don't know what new thing I could do. I don't even know what I could change. But I also know that it is so important to do those things. It used to freak me out, but you have to do it constantly with YouTube. You have to be changing and innovating and trying things and failing at things constantly, or else it's not going to be fresh and the audience will know. And it's not like really going to feed your soul either, at least my soul. And it's really shifted, I think, how my brain approaches not knowing how I'm going to solve something, how my brain approaches the unknown, the unpaved path. Like almost every single fucking video, I sit down and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this video. Almost every time, unless it's like a super repeated structure. If it's anything new or interesting, I really don't know how I'm going to do it or what's the right way to do it. There's so much experimentation, but by pursuing the unknown thing over and over and over, it does have like a permanent effect on your brain where I'm just like, okay, I know I don't know how to do this, but I've said that every other time too, so maybe I'll figure it out. And I think it's like a great thing to experience, to have to like repeatedly, it's exhausting, but it is also cool to acclimate to the notion that like, just because you don't know how you're going to solve something doesn't mean you're not going to solve it. And I was watching this interview with Steven Spielberg randomly, and he talked about this pattern he noticed where, you know, sometimes he walks onto a film set knowing exactly how he's going to direct a scene and exactly how he wants to finagle the whole thing. And sometimes he walks on and is like, I have no fucking idea how I'm gonna pull this off. I don't know how to film it. I don't know the angles. I don't know the vibe. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know how we're gonna capture this. And he said that he found the times he walks in totally confident, knowing exactly what he's gonna do and how he's gonna execute it, the result is always less interesting. It's fine, but less interesting. It's like a passing grade, but it's never something innovative. And when he walks onto that set and has no fucking clue and is shaking in his boots because he's just like totally stumped and intimidated, that's when he produces something more creative, something new, something fresh, something innovative. And that in noticing that pattern, he's been able to associate the not knowing and like the intimidation and actually the fear is now associated with like, this is the opportunity to do something great and fresh and new. So the point is basically like, there is no having it all figured out in YouTube, but in life. I think a lot of people talk about like, oh, I just have to figure out my housing situation. I just have to figure out my relationship. I just have to figure out how to not be so needy. I just got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. But there's not really a point where it's all figured out. It's just like you keep figuring stuff out and there's new problems. I think just like having to constantly encounter the unknown and the unsolved is it's like a very emboldening exercise. And the unknown and the unsolved still freaks me out a lot. But I'm just more used to being freaked out and doing the stuff anyway. This whole YouTube channel has been a gift to me. And yeah, the whole experience has been a gift. And I'm excited to get more of that gift. I don't know. What's a not weird thing I can say? I'm just excited. I'm excited for the next days to come. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank everybody who has been supportive of me, shared the videos, watched the videos, just enjoyed the videos, like shared feedback. Sometimes I get like the most heartfelt, like amazing comments and messages from people. I see them. I read them. Like it has given me so much purpose that some people can watch this channel and find purpose. Thank you. I want to say a massive thank you to my editors, Paige, who has been with me for 3.5 out of these 5 years, and Claire, who's been with me just over a year now. And these two women have had to burrow deep into my soul, watch all my worst moments, watch like 30 hours of my face per week, probably seen me in every unwatchable moment a person could be in. And then they're still nice to me. That's a pretty big deal. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my parents for supporting me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and every way a person can be supported through their life. My siblings, who people always ask about my siblings, like, are they really all that great and all that close and all that supportive? Yes, they are. I just have they're my biggest cheerleaders. I would like to thank Justin, my fiance, for letting me talk about YouTube 24/7. He is my head strategist. He is my head therapist, in addition to my actual therapist, Maria. Shout out Maria. To my Aunt Sue and my Aunt Margaret and my Aunt Mary, who are 3 of the biggest supporters and watchers of my channel and have always made me feel so loved, no matter the subscriber count. And very, very much thank you to my friends for the days when my well-being deteriorates, and they really are a place of comfort. Thank you for being here. I have no idea what the future holds or what the rest of this channel will be, but as YouTube has taught me time and time again, that's a pretty good place to start. Look at this absolute 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗡.
Hey, baby girl.
Hi. Hey, little booties.
Hi, Paigey. It's your girl, Caroline. Well. Another day, another day. Wow. Welcome to my bathtub.
Hey.
Here's the tough news.
I'm in the goddamn airport.
Hi, my name is Justin, and I'm in my closet.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Please just do not subscribe. Listen, woof.
Okay, wait. First, I need to say that I love you.
Okay.
There are no child prodigy throw pillow arrangers.
He was just a 30-year-old man that smelled like spaghetti who was hitting on a 19-year-old.
I stumbled upon YouTube and stumbled upon this place where like all these weird disparate things about me finally make sense. It feels like the place where I make sense for the first time. That was my chimney sweep. Well, he's not mine. He belongs to the land.
He's so cute. Here's a montage of my cat. My cat's meowing at me, Paige. I got a cat, but we haven't revealed this yet. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, there's a cat. Hi. Kisses. Okay. How'd you get on my stove? Hi, baby. Oh, okay. And, yeah. Yeah. Hi. I'm holding knives. Hold on. Kiss her butt. Thank you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't eat that. No, no, that's not food. That's not food. That's peel and stick tile. Don't eat that. No, cat. No. Cat is opening the door. Honey. That's probably not a good place to be. Okay. Thank you for participating, though. Thank you.